introduced to what a complex number is, I'm going to show you how we represent them on a graph. But before I do that, let me remind you of real numbers. So right now I see a line, and I'm going to turn it into the real number line. So on the real number line, we have 0 and positive numbers, and we usually just denote them with the integers, but there are numbers in between here like 0.5 and 0.15, right? All of those fractional values. And we also have negative numbers. So think back to elementary school when your number line only had positive numbers. You probably got to middle school and you added on the negative numbers. I'm now going to add on an entirely different line to this. So now, instead of having a number line, I want us to think about a number plane. So I'm going to leave the real numbers alone right here. So these were the real numbers. Or I could say this is what we normally think of as the x-axis. That's just in a real axis. And now our vertical line here, I'm going to call that the imaginary axis, where I'm going to put imaginary numbers. So here I would say 1i, next would be 2i, 3i, 4i, and so on. But I could also go in the negative direction. We could have negative I, negative 2i, and so on. So remember, this isn't the x and y axis. This isn't the Cartesian coordinate plane. That's what that is called. This is just the complex number plane. So now I can put numbers on here like 3 plus 2i. So that dot right there represents the number 3 plus 2i. But notice that I can still represent real numbers, like this one right here. What would this be? That would be 2 plus 0i, or 2. I could do numbers in this quadrant of the plane as well. That would be negative 1 minus 2i. I could do numbers that are just imaginary, with no real component, like this one up here, 0 plus 3i. So think about the number line and things that we've done with the number line in the past. With real numbers, we can see that there's an ordering to numbers, and we can also see their distance from 0, otherwise known as their absolute value. In class, you're going to look at what the absolute value of a complex number will be.